Chris. Senator Daniel. Senator Dunlap.
Here.
Senator Ebert. Senator Garrison. Senator Hebron. Senator Harada. Senator Moffett. Senator Nelson. Senator Peckham.
Here.
Senator Rajinik. Senator Stumo. Senator Bulmer.
Here.
Vice President Cordell. President Hebron.
We will now move to open forum. Is there any open forum? Seeing none, I am going to, without objection, Chair, I am going to amend the agenda to include a presentation with reference and data on the health and wellness foundation. Please approach the table. Point of personal privilege, really quick. Hi. In the future, could you turn your mic up? Okay, thank you. Yep. What number does it say on there? Please. BR1. All good? Hi everybody, for those who don't know you, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Rachel Schulte. I serve as your student health and wellness director, and as some of you may know, I've been working on a long-term project over this session to implement a health and wellness vending machine here on campus. And later tonight, I'm introducing a resolution in support of that. So this presentation is to give you some background and context on what I've done for the project so far. Okay, so first, I was approached with this project by Christy Cruz, a health educator from the Office of Health Promotion. Christy had attempted to launch this initiative a few years ago, but the workload was too significant for her with everything else she does around campus. So she believed that by collaborating, we could make this project more feasible, and I agreed to partner with her on it. It has been an extensive process since then, and I'd like to provide an overview of what we have done so far. So first is the research phase. Our first step was researching other universities that have these health and wellness vending machines on campus. We contacted several institutions to speak with their program managers, including like UW-Madison. But we received the most helpful information from James Madison University, which currently manages 4 wellness vending machines across their campus, and this allows us to understand the general process and logistics required to obtain a health and wellness vending machine. Okay, so next, after our background research and after we got more information on how this would logistically work, we looked into specialized vendors. Unfortunately, even though health and wellness vending machines are like popping up everywhere, you'll find them like airports and obviously college campuses. There's no like one specialized company that just sells a health and wellness vending machine for some reason. So you kind of have to figure out like a workaround around that. So we finally decided that we would look into the specialized vendors, and initially we identified a company called Ventec as our ideal vendor, and we received a quote for just over $5,000 for a used machine, not including any of the products or anything like that, just simply the vending machine. And at that time, we were looking for the machine only, as we were told that the Office of Health Promotion would be able to do the restocking. So after we did that, we met with Dean Heinzelman, and we were advised to reach out to Canteen. So Canteen is the company that provides our current food and drink machines here on the campus. And originally we didn't, because when Christy did this a few years ago, she reached out to Canteen and they weren't on board with it. But Dean Heinzelman encouraged us to check back in with them to see if something maybe this is something that they would want to do now, because it makes more sense to have a vending machine company that we already use on campus help us out with this instead of having to go through a whole outside party to do it. So, yeah, so next after that meeting with Dean Hines, and then we reached out to Canteen, and they seemed really excited about this project, and we met with them about a week before start of second semester. And they were, like I said, they were very excited about this project, and they said they would get back to us on everything. And about 2 weeks later, they finally got back to us, and they told us that they would actually provide the vending machine to us for free, which was very exciting because obviously free stuff is exciting. Yeah, but then we got more redirection. So while the free machine was a win, we reached out to the procurement office here on campus, and they informed us that the Office of Health Promotion would actually not be able to stock the machine as we first thought due to liability concerns, and we were instructed to transition to a different service model where a single company provides the machine, the products, and the restocking services all in one. So this requires us to submit a request for information and a request for purchasing. Okay, so the next meeting with procurement is in May, so to figure it all out due to scheduling issues. So in the meantime, Christy and I kind of brainstormed like what we could do while we're waiting to have this meeting, and we decided that it would be great to have student backing on this project. So we sent out a survey to all students, gauging their opinions on this and support. And so, yeah, the outcomes were great. As you can see, 96.86% said that something would be beneficial, and 81.53% said that they would utilize this machine. The most common responses for people who said they wouldn't utilize the machine were either that they already have access to these products, or that they were concerned about the price of the products being too high for them to be able to afford it as a student. And yeah, so next steps, we have a meeting with procurement in May to figure out kind of the logistics. So Canteen offered the vending machine to us for free, but we still are not exactly sure if we can accept that offer because procurement has expressed that they think it's a good idea to get like the machine, the services, and the restocking, like all that in one package, and Canteen is only able to provide us a vending machine. So that's kind of our goal in May, meeting with procurement, is to figure out all the logistics of where we would get the machine and who would be stocking it and things like that. And that's all I have. Are there any questions for that presentation? Senator Henry.
Thank you. Do you remember how many people, how many students answered to the survey?
Yes. I think the last time that I checked the survey, there were a little over 250 responses. I think closer to 260, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Are there any other questions? Senator Bowman.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. You mentioned that, that procurement would like to have the full package, including stockings done, but also that the first company, well, when trying to look for a company that did that, you were able to find it. Do you feel that it would be feasible to find a company that would be able to do the entire package?
I do not. I think that's why Christy and I are pushing for getting the original vending machine from Canteen, and then getting all the supplies for the vending machine from, I don't know what the company's name is, but it's where Student Health Services gets all their stock from, because there just really isn't a company that provides like all three of these, or at least they don't market it. It would be something that we would have to kind of like work around with the company, and I'm not sure if there would be any way that would really want to do that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Director Esser.
Thank you for the presentation, first of all.
And this might be answered later on a resolution. Would be paying for all of the products to be put in the vending machine. Yeah, so right now we do not have any funding like locked down. We have to wait until we meet with procurement and figure out where we're gonna get the machine from, so then we can get quotes, because right now we don't have a quote for like the whole service. We got a quote for specifically the vending machine, but we didn't know we would have to like get the products and the supply. So right now we're waiting to have that meeting so we can work on getting a quote for the whole thing. But I'm not too concerned about the funding because Dean Heinzen was really, he seemed very excited about this project and he really wanted to support us. Like, it would be a good resource for that. And also earlier in the year, I was in contact with the foundation. But they also told me that we had to have a specific quote until, or a specific quote, before we went to go find donors. Does that answer your question? Yes, it does. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for that presentation. Moving back into the agenda, we will now move to approving the meeting minutes from April 6th. Are there any amendments or corrections to last week's meeting minutes? Seeing none, we will now move into reports with the president. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a great week. I spent my time looking through operating policies that will hopefully be presented on the floor next week. Alongside many of you, I was able to go to the debate and hear from our executive duos what policies they would like to implement on campus during the 70th session. I encourage you all to do your research on your fellow candidates and look through their bios that have been sent to your email. Senate voting is open now for Wednesday, and results will be posted on the board in the Senate office after the elections committee convenes this Wednesday evening. In addition, I also attended internal affairs to go through one more bylaw change demonstrated in 69-3-16, and I had the pleasure of attending SSC's last meeting for the session. Additionally, I attended a meeting in preparation for the chancellor finalists to come to campus. This morning, I sat alongside a group of my peers to have lunch with one of our chancellor finalists, and finally, I attended a public forum for a candidate at 5 p.m. Each day, a candidate will have a scheduled open forum through Thursday. I highly encourage you all to attend those or listen to the live stream sent to your student email. Attached is a cultured survey with your feedback for each candidate as well. Your voice is so important and necessary in determining how our campus will be shaped for years to come. That's all for now. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out or stop by my office. My door is always open. Thank you, and I yield. Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, we will now move on to report from the Vice President.
What's up, Googles? Hope you're enjoying your day so far. Let's be faster. Last week, I heard the Dean of Multiple Colleges discuss Senate changes, AI policy, and more. In addition, as well as internal affairs, and was one of the bills being discussed tonight. Lastly, on a more personal note, I made my way down to Chicago to visit Northwestern's campus for an in-person review day. That was all. Welcome to meet some of my co-curricular members in person, current students, and faculty members. I also got my internship supervisor and learned about what my internship looks like as well. Finally, I got to explore more of the city before making the trip back on Saturday to make it back in time for the B-Ball Scholarship Banquet, which I had to do with Clement Kevin and Record Essler. B-Ball is always a fun time of year, seeing babies from their life, and all the people that come together for the event. Hope all the people that I saw that night had a blast. It was great to see you be dressed up for an event not made Senate. Only one meeting left as a whole Senate body and 2 for the full Senate session. Please take some time to dwell in. Best of luck to you all. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything, whether it's work related or not. Take care and I need.
Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, we now move on to the Communications Commission report with Director Gerber.
What's up, guys? Communications is finally starting to wind down for the semester. With the presidential debate and town hall events having happened this past week and student senate election coming to a close in just a couple days, I'm looking forward to the nice big breath that I will get to take soon. Over the next few weeks, I get to focus my energy on my last few motivational Mondays of the year, as well as prepping my transition materials and my last Senate Sentinel of the semester. If you haven't already, be sure to vote in the student senate election. No matter what your vote says, it is so important that you use your voice. I hope everyone enjoyed this beautiful weather today and has felt oh so motivated this Monday. I yield.
Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, we'll now go to the equity and student matters report with Director Keller. I yield the report for the minutes. That report has been yielded to the minutes. We'll now move into the finance commission report with Director Keller.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all had a good weekend. This week we will have our second to last meeting where we will be finalizing and voting on our rights activity audit results and corresponding internal bills. And as always, the one attended our last two finance commission meetings and carried out prior releases that they are on Thursdays at 5 p.m. in Council Room, page 260.
Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, the report from the Information Technology Commission has been given to the minutes. We will now move into the intergovernmental affairs report with Director Kessler.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Oh my gosh, I hope you all enjoyed the wonderful weather we are having today. This week in IGA, we'll continue to work on upcoming spring block party and have a general discussion about my roles to it. So if you are interested in planning the dash or dash and dash, I would like to have my job next year. I hope to see you Wednesday at 4:15 p.m. in the time conference room, Davies 220K, or bigger conference room if there are any technology issues. Lastly, well, I'm sure you are all aware, since Senate elections ballot was sent out this morning, and I would now be your intergovernmental affairs director if I did not once again want you to vote. The form will be open until Wednesday, 5 p.m. So if you have, oh my gosh, so you have plenty of time to fill it out yourself and encourage everyone to get you so well. Godspeed, who builds and I yield.
Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, we will now go into the student health and wellness report with Director Schulte.
Hello all, I hope everyone is having a great start to the week. Last week in SHW, we talked more about plans for the spring health fair, as well as went over and passed the resolution I will be bringing to the board tonight. Personally, I've been working on my transition materials, looking over the enrollments letter, and trying to wrap up projects from this semester. Lastly, I both volunteered and attended B-Ball this weekend and saw many Senate friends. That's all from SHW's end. I hope you all have a great rest of your week.
Do you yield?
Yes, I do.
Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, the report from the student office of sustainability has been yielded to the minutes. We will now move on to the student organization commission report with Director Brennan.
Hey, party people. I hope everyone's having a great day. SSC work is dwindling down, but not completely over. Last week, we had our last official meeting where we took time to reflect on what we have completed throughout the year. The highlights were the 11 new organizations that we approved this year, the 2 bills that we passed, and the whole funding restructuring, and many more. We had a great turnout of 12 members in attendance. It was really nice to take a moment and celebrate all the work that we've done over the year. I seriously want to thank each and every one of you. We could not have gotten things done without the help from you all. This week, SSC won't be meeting, unfortunately, but we will be having a funding workshop during our meeting time. All organization treasurers who received an allocation for the upcoming year are recommended to attend. Thank you to all for the passing of both bills last week in Senate. Before the session is wrapped up, I plan to implement the next steps listed in both those bills. Here's to a great week. Thank you. I yield.
Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, we will now move on to the University Activities Commission report with Director Burton.
Good evening, everyone. I hope anyone who attended UWEC this past weekend had a great time. Currently, UAC is working hard to finish off the last of the semester. Today is the Apparel and Film Festival deadline for anyone that wanted to participate. On Friday, we will have the film project showing and awards 7 to 9 p.m. in Hilltop Lounge.
On Wednesday, we will have our weekly blues bingo 5 to 6:30 in the cabin with the theme Cozy Rainy Day. Pretty fitting for this week. On Thursday, we're collaborating with Housing and Residence Life to do Meet Your People in Towers Lobby 6 to 7:30 p.m. We will be making spring-related pipe cleaner crafts. Personally, I've been conducting returner interviews this past week and continuing into this week. I've also been facilitating trivia and planning for bingo next semester. I've also been working on booking and entertainment for this fall. Looking forward, next Monday, the UAC chair application closes. Currently, we have 4 paid chair positions available on Handshake. It's a great opportunity to learn to event plan and network with the larger Earthfare community. We also currently have our Dash and Dash sign up open. You can find the QR code on any Dash and Dash poster around campus or in the link tree on UWEC Involvement's Instagram. Dash and Dash is similar to Amazing Race, where it will be led with clues to different stations and games around campus with partner. Every person that participates will win a prize, with the top 3 being larger prizes. Our first place prize values at nearly $600 this year. Stay tuned for the announcement of our prizes this week. In just 2 weeks, you'll be able to enjoy our last week-long festival of the year, Google Street Fest. More information about events coming next week. That is it for me. I do. Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, we'll now move into a special report from mascot coordinator, please.
Hi guys, well, my name is this is Steve. So during the past week, I've also been coordinating Blues appears to the rest of the school year. Like I said last week, we have a lot of events at the end of April and early May, so make sure to look out for Blue. I've also been working on a piece of legislation that you guys can hear about later today. Besides that work, I had a chance to attend the Evolve Center back in our friends. It was awesome to see a ton of friendly faces there, and the music was always great as well. I also got to go see my favorite hip-hop group twice in Minneapolis last night. Shout out to Senator Lee for singing in the crowd. It was a great show. And then I guess in terms of mascot news, besides the typical appearances, we will be appearing at the SSD Recreational Sports Night this Thursday, which is in McPhee from 7:15 to 8:30 p.m. As always, if you have any questions, you can email me or call me at my desk. Have a very good everyone. Thank you and I yield.
Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, we'll now go into a special report from the housing coordinator Shrivas.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had good evenings. I know I did since I got to go to both nights of football. Aside from that, I've been finalizing the last details for the spring community walkthrough looking at this Thursday. The event will start at 7 p.m. and we'll be meeting in the center office. It's going to look much different this year. Usually it's more of a community involvement kind of thing where students will be able to learn about issues across the community. But after some discussion with Stephanie and President Henry, we decided that it would be better if it was a lot more internal and the answer of the event to serve over their purpose. So we're going to be working to actively identify real issues we see around campus and the areas surrounding it. I want there to be a direct purpose to the water cruiser to identify the issues and using future projects and initiatives. Additionally, there will be a meeting at 12:30 p.m. in the Beta Conference Room next Wednesday, or this upcoming Wednesday, which will serve as our day before finalization meeting and looking over final details like the official route we'll take and a few different things that we're going to focus on. Everyone's welcome to come, and I'd love for you to join us at the Spring for You walkthrough or the meeting for Wednesday. Thank you, and I yield.
Are there any questions for that report? Any questions for that report? Seeing none, I'm happy to solve some reports in the into order business with 69-B-15. Gender and sexuality resource center revised fiscal year 26 organized activity allocation. Is there an alcohol to be introduced? Dr. Shepherd.
Hello, everyone. Each year, students are charged targeted fees on top of institutional fees. The Student University Funds Allocation Committee, or SUFAC, then determines how those said fees are allocated to the organized activities on campus, and they determine the recommended organized activities set the amount to charge students. At UWEC, the Student Senate Finance Commission serves as the Student University Funds Allocation Committee. One of the organized activities that the Finance Commission allocates segregated university funding to is the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center, or GSRC. This bill reflects a mid-year adjustment to the GSRC's fiscal year 2026 budget following changes to planned programs. Due to unforeseen staffing circumstances, the GSRC was unable to plan and execute the fire bill as originally proposed during the budget request process, and instead organized the House approval. This shift resulted in lower overall costs, and it's been decided that the remaining funds allocated for the fire bill grant will be returned to the Finance Commission clearing account in the interest of fiscal responsibility. This legislation formalizes the revised FY 26 JSRC allocation, and the changes in budget is outlined in attachment A. And that's all I have for introduction, so if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask them. I yield.
Are there any questions for that introduction? Any questions? Seeing none, we're now on into the speakers list. 69-D-15. Is there anyone from the speakers list? Director Burke?
I will be going this up. I sat in on the Finance Commission meeting where we actually had, one of the people from the GSRC come and present. And I think they did a great job explaining why the cost changed this year, and they're really effective with it. And so, yeah, I'll be going this up. Thank you. And then you.
Is there anyone else for the speakers list? Anyone for the speakers list? Director Shepherd?
Okay, I will be voting this bill up, simply because, something we've been really working on as the Finance Commission is to ensure, fiscal accountability and responsibility, and with that comes when there are changes needed to budgets, we expect our organized activities to make changes to reflect, those amendments, and by presenting to return the funds that were allocated for the fire development, but were not used, there's a lot of fiscal responsibility on the GSRC behalf, and I will do it as well. Thank you.
Is there anyone else for the speakers list? Anyone for the speakers list? Seeing none, we will now go to the flag and vote on 69-D-15. All those in favor, please raise your flags. All those opposed? And abstaining. In a vote 25-0 to 2, that bill passes. We have exhausted the business and we continue with business, beginning with 69-R-12. In support for the implementation of the health and wellness vending machine on campus, is there an author willing to introduce for official?
Hey again, my name is Rachel, I'm a student health and wellness director, and as all of you know now, I've been working on a long-term project this session to implement a health and wellness vending machine on campus. A health and wellness vending machine operates like a standard vending machine that is stocked with essential health products included but not limited to Advil, hydrocortisone, Benadryl, Narcan, Clear Blue pregnancy test, and Plan B emergency contraception. Our goal is to offer students convenient on-campus access to these essential items and to reduce the barriers students face in obtaining products that benefit their health and wellness. This resolution aims to provide formal backing demonstrating that if passed, this is an initiative that the student body wants on our campus. I'm happy to answer any and all questions you may have. I yield.
Are there any questions for that introduction? Director Kirkland?
I know you touched a little bit on funding during your presentation, so this is like kind of different, but will students have to pay like around the same amount for the for the product through the vending machine as they would if they went to a pharmacy at like Cub or Walgreens or something?
our goal is to make it as cheap as possible. We're not trying to make any profit off this machine at all. So the products will be priced at like the point where it's gonna be like lower than you would be able to get them at like a Walgreens, but high enough to where you can still like be able to like fund it. So, like the goal is to break even, like we're not trying to make anything off of this, it's just to provide access, but yeah. It's supposed to be.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Senator Hutton.
Hi, just a quick question. If this goes through, where would you be putting a placing the machine? Would it be somewhere more private?
Yeah, so our, Christy and, a few other students brainstormed, and our ideal place would be in Davies, as it is the student center. And we, right now, we're thinking of putting it on the first floor, kind of in the, like, clove across from the food pantry. There's that like, little thing, if we want people to be able to, access these products, it's some of them are like sensitive, but we also want it to be visible so students like know it's there. So we thought that place would be kind of like the best in between of like visibility and accessibility.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
What do you think?
I did you a good presentation and for the introduction. My main question is, I guess what items in the vending machine do you see that would be free? I know, for example, like Narcan is something that we're giving for free. So like what other items do you think would be free for students?
The items that would be free for students are Narcan and the opioid overdose test strips, because we already get those free from student health services, so those would be the two items that would be free.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Director, excellent.
I'm just going straight to the line. So just to clarify, the money that you would receive from this vending machine, like the profit, would just be used to go in to buy back more product for the vending machine?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Senator Zach. So my question kind of has something with, the same vending machine, but my question is that I know that there's a lot of, I would say that some students may feel a little shame buying some of the items in that vending machine. I'm wondering if you have any ideas of how to reduce that shame in maybe a way of packaging certain items so that you can't see what people are buying. Like obviously if someone's standing behind you, then they'd be able to see. But do you have any ideas for that? Just that students don't feel that that's an additional barrier that they have to go through.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think that would be something that we would definitely look into. It really all depends on who's stocking the machine, because previously we were told Chris's office could stock it, and in that case, then we would definitely have it like more like just like covered. But, then we told we can't, so we're still a little bit confused on if we could stop the machine or not, and if it's not us, then it would be somebody else, and we wouldn't be able to guarantee that. So I think kind of that like our best option if we were stocking it is to put it in a place that more.
Does that answer your question? Senator Stewart.
Hi, line 3 guidelines, let's talk about an attachment with a list of products I've included. I'll start with a comment in the email, please, send that to us.
Yes,
Where's the, can I just hit send?
it's not in the email, give me one second. Oh, here,
And let me know if you guys want me to zoom out or scroll down at any point.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, follow up.
Follow-up?
Can you send it to us, Mayor, so we can still do?
Yes, give me 1 second.
Awesome.
Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Oh, sorry, Senator Parker.
Just a quick question. I know all the profits will go back towards buying new product. Is it going to be sold at like completely break even? Like, purchase for the exact same products that you bought?
Can you reword that? Sorry.
Yes, in the vending machine itself, are all the prices of what is being sold going to be the exact price of what you guys bought it for? Does that make sense?
That does make sense. I'm not exactly sure yet. It's probably gonna be cheaper than what we bought it for, because the goal is to provide, like, make it accessible for students and to make these products a little bit cheaper. I don't know the exact logistics on like the percentages on what that would be, but that's the goal.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Director Exum.
I have 2 questions. Is that okay? Okay, great. So the first one that I had for the products that you're offering in the vending machine, was that something like how did you decide what was going to be offered? Was that something that was just like just up to your that was discussed just in SHW, or was it kind of like I know originally you were going to go through Christie's office, so maybe there was something there, but that's overall that's my question. Yeah, the file that you're like this specifically is a product list that Christine made. This is from a few years ago when she first did this. This is like purely an example. This isn't like set in stone or anything, because we looked through all these products and we had a list of like a few we would want to add. So this specifically is from a few years ago when Christine first was starting this project and things that she would want to put in there, but I'm open to any work open to feedback, because like nothing is set in stone yet, so these are just things that will likely be in there, but some of them could change depending on like the type of vending machine you get, because there's like different foils and like how many spots you have, like if you got like a bigger one, maybe you can have more, like things like that.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. That's okay. I guess it's kind of just a follow-up. Would you be open to potentially sending out like another survey to ask students what they would want to see in that vending machine?
Yes, actually, I had a few people respond that they had suggestions, so that would definitely be something that I want to do to get some feedback.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Director Bird.
Sorry again. Could you possibly send it out again, but as an Excel sheet, because I'm unable to open it as it's like the wrong type of file.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question? Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll now go into a speaker space. Is there any other speaker space? Director Campbell.
First, I would like to thank Director Schulte for both the presentation and the resolution. I've had the opportunity to observe the dedication and effort Director Schulte has invested in this project, and it is clear that this initiative has been thoughtfully developed. This project would be highly beneficial to the student body, particularly those who may not have access to transportation and therefore face challenges in obtaining wellness products. By addressing this need, the resolution helps ensure more equitable access to essential resources for all UWEC students. Overall, I believe this is an impactful initiative that will positively benefit the campus as a whole, so I will be voting this up.
You,
I will.
Director Berner.
First, I'd like to commend the authors for writing this. Really great work, and this sounds like something that I think would be very beneficial for this campus. I especially like how the SHW Commission worked on getting a survey out to students first. I think that's super important on getting that student input. And it was clear based on the results from that survey that students do want to see this on campus. So I'm really glad the next steps of implementation are happening. And I think that this would really benefit our campus, especially with the fact that the nearest grocery store isn't exactly nearby. So like accessibility is an issue for some students who may not have cars or access to different ways to get these items. So I think it's really important that we have these readily available on campus for students in a way that they can kind of get them on their own without feeling the pressure of like an individual or having to go through a different individual to get these things. So yeah, I will be voting this up. Thank you, and I yield.
Senator Bowman.
Oh, I would be voting this resolution down. Although I believe a health and wellness vending machine would be very beneficial to students, I won't be able to support a resolution until there is a selling point. With no funding plan, being unsure of our stocking options, and not knowing which company will be doing this through, I feel that it's hard to support this resolution in its current state. And beyond these issues, I don't think that the passage of this resolution would work as a beneficial bargaining chip with procurement or the companies that we would be working with. As SHW will be meeting with procurement and finding more answers in May, I would gladly support this resolution in the future with more information. Thank you, Madam.
Senator Zach.
First, I just wanted to say that this is amazing. I think this is such a great idea. I've been on so many college campuses before and I haven't seen one of these. I don't know if it was hidden or something, but I think this is such an amazing new idea. And I think it will be very, very well highlighted at our campus. I think that it will bring new students in and it will be something that we can definitely highlight when ambassadors are bringing new students around. I think that this is an amazing idea. I think it not only promotes accessibility and inclusivity for our students, but it also shows that we care about our students' needs and that there's no reason to feel ashamed for accessing things that should be right. I yield.
Director Shepherd.
I first like to commend the authors for this resolution. I think it's very well written. I will be voting this resolution simply because I think a lot of times we get a little too stuck on needing to have like a complete detailed plan and it can kind of stop us from like creating action. I think the purpose of the resolution is trying just to kind of get us there and it can help show administration that students are in favor of this change when it allows us to better talk to administration and kind of make a plan because then they can see that like not only do students want this through surveys, but also student senate has looked at it and asked it through. And while I do agree that I would like to see more set funding, I think this is kind of a similar situation to the hot water filter in which we can show our support for a resolution and this can be a continued project that's worked on with funding, just so this can kind of get the ball rolling. So, anyway.
Senator Chris.
I would say thank you to the authors of this resolution. I think it is extremely well done and it's a very important step in the. Can't say that word, I don't know what I'm trying to say. That one. I think it's really important that this resolution is passed so we can keep moving forward and overall is a great step in making our campus more equitable and accessible. Thank you.
Do you? Is there anyone else for the speakers list? Director Schultz.
I will be voting this up, obviously, because you know it's my project. This is something that I've been working on, like I said, for like a really long time, since like September. And throughout this, like Christy and I have gone through a lot of like bumps in the road, like thinking maybe we can do something and then like saying no and or getting told no and things like that. I think it's been such a learning experience for me as a director with a project like this that's so big and there's not much information on the wellness animation. Just maybe like it's just really improved my skills and everything like that. And I think concerning like the plan I genuinely you could ask like anybody who knows me. I have been debating whether or not to write a resolution on this since October because I kept waiting until I could have more information. I wanted more information to be able to come here and share it with you, but
then I kind of just had a realization that, you know, like if I keep waiting, then maybe nothing will be done. And I want a formal resolution put out in case there's a new SHLU director next year. So hopefully this project will be continued. And yeah, I yield.
Move to amend.
On amendment.
Remove the second I in implementation in the title. The one after the E.
Seeing as that is editorial, that stands as approved by the chair. Is there anyone else for the speakers list? Anyone else for the speakers list? Seeing none, we will now go into a placard vote on 69-R-12. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All those opposed? And abstaining. In a vote of 24-1 to 2, that resolution passes. I am now, without objection to the chair, I am now going to amend the agenda to include 69-B-16. Amendments to bylaws, chapters 3, sections 2 and 5. Is there a going to introduce Coordinator David?
Hi, guys. I bet you thought we were done with bylaws, but not yet. Okay, so, I thought I'd just give a little introduction to like the reason why you're seeing this go right now. So since I came into my position as the interim mascot coordinator, I've been able to learn a lot more about what separates my position from other positions in the Senate. I think the biggest difference that some people may have thought about is voting power. As many members also thought, coordinators are not able to vote in anything else. Yet, when I go deeper into bylaws, I noticed that there were multiple contradictions in those bylaws about whether coordinators can or cannot vote on things such as motions, amendments, bills, resolutions, and etc. Thus, I decided to write this bill. The main purpose of this bill is to change the bylaws to allow coordinators to have full voting power. Attachment A, which was sent in the email this week, includes the changes slash amendments I'm proposing to make, both of which are located within chapter 3 of your current bylaws. Just to make sure everyone understands what this is saying, if this bill were to pass and these changes would go into effect, not only would coordinators have the same voting power as senators and directors, they would also be appointed by the president and vice president, and they would be subject to Senate confirmation. This means that they would have to speak in front of the Senate body and have a Q&A period before being voted in by the student body, just like director appointments. And since this is an important amendment in bylaws, that will affect how coordinators will be appointed in our next session, which is in only a few weeks. I plan the motion to suspend the bylaws so we can vote on this tonight. If you have any answer any more questions you guys have, thank you.
Are there any questions for that introduction? Any questions? Senator Mulder.
Hello, thank you for that introduction. With it being amended so that coordinators are granted full voting rights, was it ever considered for the personnel director to also have voting rights or not?
Would you like more information?
Yes.
So up until the current set of the bylaws, the Senate Personnel Director did receive voting rights. The only difference was that the parliamentarian did not, to remain unbiased as like this kind of proceeding officer that can understand the rules of like Robert's Rules of Order. So that was intentional. But now with our new set of bylaws where we are combining the parliamentarian role with the Senate Personnel Director to an extent, we adopted the same sort of line of thinking of removing that voting power from the Senate Personnel Director, since it would be their expectation going forward to understand the rules and procedures of how Senate operates and to be that unbiased person that can still command the room in that way. So that's kind of the distinction there, or the thought process for why not the Senate Personnel Director going forward. But yes, so I can elaborate. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions? See Director Schulte.
I wondered if you have talked to like any other coordinators or past coordinators on what they think about this?
Would you like more?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so we in the coordinator place discussed this, he usually brought up to me, I think a week and a half ago, something like that. And, just pointing out that the multiple contradictions in the bylaws, it looks like the bylaws itself like says different things. But it says that coordinators should have the power, if I'm not mistaken, that coordinators should have the power to vote more often than it says that they don't. And just with those inconsistencies, we discussed it and I feel the same way that kind of coordinator role should be more treated, especially as we're adding them, treated more like not similar to directors, but we needed to vote it in, people are never just appointed, and also having those voting powers. And it can also help the coordinators create themselves more in the center, since it is kind of more less affiliated with a bunch of different systems in the Senate already as a role.
Does that answer your question? Yes. Senator Schulte.
Yeah, so looking at the second amendment, chapter 3, section 5, cutting out the portion that says we're not granting voting rights in the next sentence. Do you need to have a second sentence within there clarifying that ordinance are able to speak in meetings and choose legislation, or is that just implied implicitly?
The main reason I cut out that second line is because it's inferred, as you said, mainly because that line was there as it's originally read, it's like reports and they were, however, they don't have the rights, but then it's to clarify originally that they could do those specific things, such as speak at meetings, introduce legislation, water, with the ability to have full voting rights in different parts of the house as well. It's already set before, so it just needs information. That's what it's.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
Are there any other questions? Senator Heffern.
Hello, thank you so much for this introduction. So I was wondering, will the election or the appointing process change or look different?
Okay, so the main point is, so as it was, as of last session, I believe, you can extend this, I'm wrong, but, coordinators were just appointed by the president, vice president, straight up, and they're just put in their position. But with my change, as like what I'm proposing, is that simply as directors, they have to go, like, if you remember with when we appointed Director Kirkwood, you kind of went through a Q&A, like, she spoke and said, in front of about 15 minutes in the question and answer period before we went into closed session to have a vote. That's how this is planned to be. So it's just meant to be in line with the rest of the directors.
Would you like more information?
Yes.
Yeah, to kind of walk through the timeline of that, whenever we enter into a new session, the president and vice president have the responsibility of conducting interviews to take on their executive board. So they will select their nominee, and then that nominee comes forward to Senate and provides a speech, like a 5-minute speech, followed by a 5-minute question and answer period. Then we go into closed session. That person will be required to leave the room along with any other person that's not a voting Senate member. And they would go into debate on that person, whether or not they agree with the vice president and president's choice on that nominee. Before, it was just that the coordinators would be outright appointed by the president and vice president, so there was no coming forward to Senate. They were just automatically hired because the president and vice president said so. But this would change it a little bit so that rather than being appointed outright, they still have to come forward to the body and present themselves to Senate to be voted in. But in exchange, they get voting rights as kind of like a democratic process, so to speak. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Senator Moffett?
First, thank you for that introduction. As my question was more like an amendment, I think in chapter 3, section 2, part 1, it says that, each member of the executive board or appointed by president is subject to Senate confirmation with exception to coordinators, but later in chapter 3, section 5, with your addition, it does say that coordinators are subject to Senate confirmation. Are we able to amend the section 2, part 1 to get rid of the with exception to the coordinators? So with the proposed change, it is erasing the line, because as it stands now, coordinators are members of the executive board. Thus, I mean, it kind of is just replacing the words if you look at the two sections. I mean, there's mostly for clarification, because that second set of changes is like our coordinator role description. And so like with the proposed change, I'm just getting, as in that first part, I'm just getting rid of that exception, so it stands to work with us as well.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it is.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Seeing none, seeing that.
Motion to suspend chapter 2, section 3, part 1, subsection 3 of the student senate bylaws, so this bill can be voted on this 2 nights.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? And abstained. And voted 25-0 to 2. We will now be voting on this tonight. No suspension of the bylaws. So with that, we will be moving on to a speakers list for 69-8-16. Is there any speakers list? Coordinator Shrikos.
First, I want to thank the office for great introduction and very close to see the congregation within our own bylaws. I would definitely be voting this bill up. We discussed this personally and at the other board meeting. Vincent, I feel like this bill will not only help keep things consistent, but keep coordinators engaged in the whenever of the student body, so they're more willing to participate in voting and GA, even if they're not also centered.
Director Edson.
Okay, so I will be moving this bill up. I think my main concern when this was originally brought to my attention was just the process of checks and balances of the coordinators potentially having a voting power when they were, they wouldn't be going through that same process that the directors do, and that has been solved. So I think that this is a great idea, and I'm very glad that, this was brought to the attention of the body and that we're fixing it. That's all I got. I yield.
Senator Langer.
I would be voting this up. I believe that coordinators, because they're still able to write legislation in speaking meetings, I think that being granted voting rights is fair so they can be part of the process to make such critical decisions that take place here on campus. Thank you, Megan.
Coordinator Flynn.
Yeah, this, obviously I'm a little bit biased, but I'll be voting this up. I think that, both, coordinators here, that's actually what's that. I've been making major strides this session when it comes out in coordinating being more involved in student senate, especially with the creation of our committees. Thus I think it makes sense for us to be able to vote. While I think there is still a little bit of disconnect between my role and the rest of the student senate, I think that this goes a long way. Along with the rest of our bylaw revisions to help close that distance. And yeah, I think that also allowing them to vote will kind of like incentivize us to be more involved with the student senate. And I think that's just a good idea overall. That's mostly it for me, so I guess with the rest, so.
Is there anyone else for the speakers list? Anyone from the speakers list? Senator Heffernan.
Thank you again for this introduction.
And as coordinators play very important roles in our Senate and our on campus already, I feel that this just makes sense, so I will be voting this up. Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anyone else for the speakers list? Anyone for the speakers list? Seeing none, we will now move into a placard vote on 69-A-16. All those in favor, please raise your placards. All those opposed? And abstaining. And vote 25-0 for 2. That bill passes. We have exhausted new business this evening and will now move into the announcements. Are there any announcements? Director Campbell. Hi, everybody. There's a really cool event on Thursday. It's called Try It Out Adaptive Sports. If you know Ben, you know Ben has worked really hard on this event, and we'd appreciate if anybody could go. It's going to be really cool. It's Thursday, April 16th in McPhee 210C Gymnasium, and you can come anytime between 7:30 and 9:30 p.m. with Zumba starting at 8 p.m. Equipment and instruction will be provided, so if anybody can go, please go. This is going to be a really cool event, and it's just so much fun. So everybody go. I yield. Are there any questions for that announcement? Any questions? Senator Everett.
Hi, I was just wondering, would you be able to please provide a little bit of more detail about the event?
Yeah, so basically there will be 4 options. So there'll be adaptive pickleball, adaptive climbing, Zumba, and then wheelchair basketball. All of the equipment will be provided, and then there will also be prizes. So like that's super fun. Was that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Are there any other questions for that announcement? Any other questions? Seeing none, are there any other announcements? Director Grant. Hey guys, UAC is looking for Dash and Bash volunteers. So if you are not wanting to participate and want to work any of our 12 to 13 stations, it is April 30th, 3:30 to, I'm going to say 5:30-ish. You would meet in Triple Lounge and get instruction on how to work your station. It's really low key. You just wait at your station, wait for the participants to come up to you, and you give them the next riddle for the next station. But it's a great way, and you get a free t-shirt and lots of fun. That's it, ideal. Are there any questions for that announcement? Any questions? Seeing none, are there any other announcements? Any other announcements? Senator Mays. Hopefully the weather is good tomorrow, but at 5:30 tomorrow, we will be doing the party transfer is a part of the therapy month. So if you want to come ride your bike or walk, that would be great. And we can at the campus fountain at 5:30, and the path has been adjusted, so it's accessible for all people to walk or use the wheelchair. It is 10 miles, but you don't have to go 10 miles. Do you? Are there any questions for that announcement? Director Byrne. I'm sorry, how many miles did you say? 10. Does that answer your question? Yes, thank you. Are there any other announcements? Vice President Parnell?
This is from our program managers at Levi Cola. In regards to director forms, like application forms for next session. This is from staff information that's right here. They will be opening up on Thursday, the 16th. So after the election results are done, on Thursday, the 16th, the form will be made public, sent out. That's from staff to figure out. But just a heads up, if you're interested in a director position for the next session, they'll be opening on Thursday. The process of what happens afterwards is up to the next president VP, but the forms open on Thursday. If you have questions, you can call the staff, she'll have more information. I can try to answer it now, I guess.
Oh, I did also just want to add on that you can apply for multiple positions. So keep that in mind. You don't have to apply for just one if there are more that are of interest to you. When you go into the interview, you'll be asked questions about your interests for both. Or if there are more than that, you can do that as well. So just keep that in mind when we get to that out there. Are there any questions for that announcement or Peter Flynn?
Did the coordinator want something at the same time?
Yeah, baby.
Yes, it's my question.
Fabulous. Are there any other questions for that announcement? Any questions? Seeing none without objection to the chair, I do have two announcements. First and foremost, being we have chancellor finalists on campus until up through Thursday. There is a new finalist every single day. We had one earlier today. I'm going to encourage you all to attend the public forum. Those each start at 4:30 on all of those consecutive days. And I believe that they're all in Woodland. I don't think that has changed at all. You can either attend in person, and that way you'll be able to go and ask any questions you have about the university or the chancellor and what the chancellor finalists in terms of like what they'd like to see around campus, or simply if you want to just learn more about those candidates, you can attend the live stream via Zoom as well. And those links are going to be sent out each and every day for every candidate that comes through. You can also read a little bit more about their CVs and their bios on the UWEC website. So that is my first one. Are there any questions for that announcement? Any questions? All right, last one. Senate superlatives. I sent out a form last week, and that form will be open through Friday. So I highly encourage you all to fill those out. We will be introducing those at the parties, our end of the year banquet that will be coming up on the 26th on that Sunday. So that's all I've got. Are there any questions for that announcement? Director Esser?
Okay, not like specifically related to the superlatives, but like kind of when are the rules resolution classes deleted?
One more information.
Yeah. Our program manager, Stephanie Michael, it's gonna shout at her. She can help sometime this week. So I will shoot an email as a reminder, as like a hey, heads up. So my guess will be by tomorrow, Wednesday. Once we know, we'll send a some group meet, but what's resolutions are out, and definitely next week as a reminder on hey, they should put some kids in there. So
Does that answer your question? Yeah. Follow up?
are they gonna be out up until like the parties? Probably like that weekend?
Yeah, until that Friday, because we will need to go ahead and check those up. But yes, until the Friday. So that would be the 24th.
That is a question.
Fabulous. Are there any other questions for that announcement? Any questions? Seeing none, I will now go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 7:12 p.m.